We've done enough Cougars at this point that I'm starting to lose count, but I think this is number 4.
We've only worked on 3 Mercuries.
Well, I wasn't limiting it to cars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today you join myself, Angus, and this 67 Cougar in Bandera, Texas. And today we're going to see if we can put this car back together, put it back on the road for the first time in a number of years, and then drive 1,000 miles home to Central Iowa. Ready for this one?
At least we don't have to do brake lines this time.
I hope not. You know what? Let's switch it up. I'm going on camera first this time. This right here is a 1967 Mercury Cougar XR7. Now, this is a personal bucket list car of mine. I've always liked these, and I've wanted to find specifically this for a very long time. One of our fans reached out and said that he had specifically, literally this, down in Bandera, Texas, so we hopped on a flight and headed straight down here. Except for that's not what happened, because we didn't make it straight down here. We only made it to Dallas. Take it away, voiceover, Kevin. Thank you, on camera, Kevin. So long story short, we're headed to Uvalde, Texas for Demo Ranch's retirement party. Unfortunately, when we showed up to the airport, American Airlines told us that our flight had been kicked back an entire day, which meant we would miss the whole event. That wasn't an option, so we found the only flight we could get to Texas, which landed in Dallas, and put us 6 hours away from Uvalde. Unfortunately, this meant we would need a one-way rental car, and those were obnoxiously expensive, so while we were taxiing onto the runway, I hopped on Marketplace, and for $2,500, I found this. Aha, yes.
You're kidding.
Our ride has arrived.
You're kidding. I'm kidding.
$2,500. First thing I find on Marketplace. Delivered. Rust free. 275,000 miles and only slips a little. At this point, we had 12 hours until the event started, and 6 of those needed to be driving. We slapped on a Junkyard Digs sticker, crossed our fingers, and hopped in. It's christened.
Ready to go.
6 hours?
Let's start.
Alright, here we are on another senseless adventure in what we've dubbed El Jefe.
Who's we? It's not the worst car I've ever driven in Texas.
5.5 hours to go.
Merely.
Alright, hang in there, El Jefe. At 275,000 miles, we would have liked to keep an eye on the gauges of this thing, but unfortunately, none of the dash lights worked. Somewhere around 2 a.m., we found a Motel 6 on the side of the road and decided to pull off to get a couple hours of sleep. A very short 4 hours later, we were up and on the road heading through and over San Antonio. Hold on, worn out front shocks. Ah! Just for the record, we have gone from Dallas to San Antonio and through on slightly less than 3/4 of a tank. I think this thing's getting like 18 miles per gallon.
Yeah, according to our last math, we were getting like 19.5 miles to the gallon.
Good job, El Jefe. Don't pat it too hard though, you might break it. Despite not even owning this car for 12 hours yet, we were really starting to fall in love with El Jefe. The suspension and steering were surprisingly tight, it rode smooth, and got pretty good mileage.
What a sports car.
El Jefe has traversed us to strange foreign lands.
There's hills.
And turns.
Without trees.
Despite all the risks of buying a random high-mileage GMT 800 off Marketplace, El Jefe conquered all 6 hours of driving and delivered us at drive tanks in one piece. Well, let's go party, and then we'll do that whole trip backwards.
Yeah.
And party we did.
You can't put out a hay fire. I don't know about a limo.
We got to meet big names, shoot big guns, and of course give a big congratulations to Matt from Demolition Ranch for being the first person to probably ever retire from YouTube. I didn't know this was an option. I thought we all just worked until we died or got canceled. Once all the fun was over, we hopped back in El Jefe and headed across Texas towards San Antonio to shoot an episode of the Unsub podcast. Unfortunately, as is apparently a new tradition for this channel, we got pulled over somewhere for having no plates. The cop let us go, and to prevent further problems, I made some modifications to the rear window, after which we hopped back in the Tahoe and drove all the way to San Antonio, where we were on an episode of the Unsub podcast. It was a ton of fun, and I told my one and only war stories, so if you want to see that, you can check that out on their channel here on YouTube, the Unsubscribed Podcast. Yeah, so we landed in Dallas and bought a Tahoe for $2,100, so we've driven it all over hell. It's been perfect, except for when we got pulled over today.
What'd you name it?
You did get pulled over.
Oh, El Jefe. Stands for the Jeff. Come again. After a whole night of fun, we awoke the next morning and hopped in the Tahoe one more time. Except for this time, all the side quests were finally done, and it was time to start working on the Cougar, the true reason for which we were in Texas. And that brings us back to where we started, at the intro. So take it away on camera, Kevin. Alright, so '67 Mercury Cougar XR7 car. Under the easily removable hood is an equally amount of disassembled components to the car that are just kind of laying all over, doing whatever they want. So we have ourselves basically a large puzzle on our hands that Angus and I have to figure out. But besides that, there are a couple great things in this engine bay that make this thing worth the trip. Starting right here, we have supposedly a rebuilt 351 Cleveland. And not just any, a 4-barrel Cleveland, the 4V, the one with ports about that damn big. Inside, we have ourselves some, I don't know, random bucket seats out of something. Looks like the rear seat's in pretty good shape. New carpet, I like that. The dash is, well, missing because it's a Texas car. But most importantly, beyond all that, right here, 4-speed transmission. So we've got the big good motor that wasn't even available in this, but has been shoved into the front, and a 4-speed to back it up. Now, beyond the driveline, there is one more huge sales factor to this car, and it's the fact that we're in Texas, which means I can go like this. That's all still metal. This is the same chassis as any Mustang of the era, such as that one that Angus and I pulled out of a shed. And if you'll remember that, about here is gone from that car. This, not the case. So yeah, there you go. We have ourselves a very solid, well-optioned XR7 that we are going to try to get back on the road and drive home in just a few days. We've got 1,000 miles to go and a ton of work to do, so let's get to it. All right, before we actually get into this, I need to do a little looking around for clues, try to figure out what we're dealing with here. Here's our original color. It's kind of a, I don't know, what do you call that, a purple?
I wouldn't call it that.
Looks like we have ourselves a new tank, which is nice. There has been work done to this car. Okay, being an XR7, there should be, oh yeah, check this out. It's here, thank God. Right down here in the fender well, there's a bunch of modules and relays and stuff hiding here that give us sequential taillights, which is a feature exclusive to the XR7s. So these will come on and go blink, 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 blink. That is a lot of motor for this little engine bay.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
We should put some headers on it.
It's funny you say that. That's what's on the list, but we'll get to that. Supposedly this motor's been rebuilt. Supposedly the intake has been taken off, which I do believe, because the intake pan gasket is over there, amongst all the other parts that need to be reassembled for this to be a car again. And with that, we should probably start this whole adventure by seeing if the engine runs.
Yeah?
It's gonna be hard to drive home without it.
Yeah, it will be a little tough, you're right.
Yeah, I guess we dive straight in and rip the intake out. Weird spot to start.
I can't think of a better one though, so let's go.
All right, kicking things off. Step one, which is a weird step one. Intake, gotta go. I'm not one much for science, but I don't think they seal very well without an intake gasket. Might run a little strange. This is actually an Edelbrock intake.
Oh good, so we're not gonna herniate ourselves lifting it off of there.
Yeah, and there's probably some performance goodies in here. Yep.
All in one go.
All in one. That sucker is brand new inside. Look at the size of those 4V intake ports.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how many toes you could fit in here.
What the hell? What? You're fired. That's the line.
You.
For a normal reference, here's a thumb.
Thumbs are just toes on your hands.
While we had the intake off, we decided to take a couple minutes and identify both the block and the heads. Now on a Cleveland, the heads can only be identified from below, so this was the perfect opportunity. These heads were DOAEs, which is awesome because that means they are closed chamber 4V heads. Pretty much the best stock head that you can get. Now, as far as the block went, the casting code was D2AE-CA. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation on this, so we're not sure if this is a 2-bolt or a 4-bolt main, a Cobra Jet, a high output, or just a regular block. Regardless, it was all very clean and fresh inside, yet had signs of being run, so we figured the break-in was done, and all we had to do was get this sucker running. So, that's our exploration phase done. Looks like we got good stuff here. Everything looks healthy. We just need to do some cleaning and put the gaskets on. Before we do that, though, since this has been sitting for an undetermined amount of time, bleed up the oil system.
Yeah, we should definitely prime the pump at the very least.
Yeah,
But this thing is so dry inside.
it's very. Feels like.
It'd be good to have oil where we want it right now.
All right, give her heck. Oh Jesus!
Yeah, this sucker oils.
Where's it coming from?
One of the lifters that's collapsed.
Yeah, I see oil on all the valves. That's good.
With the oil system proven functional and primed, we cleaned up our gasket surfaces, prepped our brand new intake gasket, and dropped it into place. Next up, we lowered our Edelbrock intake down and then torqued everything to spec. Let's get that sucker torqued down with the torque wrench we don't have.
I wouldn't worry about that.
I guess follow the pattern and set your elbows to incremental values as we work our way up.
Noted.
With that done, we threw the valve covers back on, reinstalled the distributor and coil, and then crawled underneath to put a starter in. Meanwhile, over here, there's an Edelbrock in a box. Ooh, those are big. I bet you this is a 750. 1411? Yeah, I think so. Oh, actually, I do know something about that. I know about how old that is. 2013.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So she's 12 years old, but probably brand new. This is all untouched. Let's slap this thing on there and see if we can make it run. Crank it.
No.
Make engine noises.
No.
No. Engine cranking noises.
Oh, I don't really remember all of a sudden how an engine sounds cranking. You want a Chevy or a Ford?
Oh, I'll give you the Chevy. That one's more notable.
I don't think I can make that noise either. Disregard, I can't do that.
You can't go.
So what do you even need me for?
Oh boy. Tell you what, we've been doing this for a long time. We're getting tired, getting loopy. Let's screw the thing just a little bit. Dude, look what's on this plug.
Spark? Oh, man. You guys see how mean he is to me?
This is some crap.
I brought you dinner. You do this. Anyway.
Also, since when have you had your own line of beef jerky?
I hated that. I hated that a lot. Don't call me that. Just glasses. Not in my glass.
That's my best attempt. Yeah, I'm gonna try again.
No, it's not.
Yeah. It's just
I
a
hate
shadow.
this game. Give me a ground beef.
Ready?
Not really. No, you're not looking at your dirty ass fingers now.
Oh, it's fine. That would have made it.
I know, that's why I was worried.
Okay, yeah, let's spin it. Find number one. All right, here we go. Got my finger on number one. I'm feeling for compression or any air rushing past, so we'll know we're on the way up. And once the piston's all the way up, we'll know we're top dead center number one. Go ahead. Come on, princess.
Move your finger.
It's definitely that, not the other 7 spark plugs. All right, hit it with your this time. Oh, I don't know if I can say that. That's going to be one of those jokes they can only hear on Pepperbox. Which, by the way, if you guys want to see Junkyard Digs episodes early with no ads, check us out, pepperboxtv.com. All the gun friends of ours and whatnot down here in Texas have started their own platform, and we'll be putting episodes on there a little earlier than YouTube and uncensored. Not that we censor much anyway, but mostly without ads and some exclusive content you can check out.
Plus, my OnlyFans. Anyway.
Why does it suck on my thumb?
Don't put it in its mouth. I don't know.
We should have brought beer. It's just sobriety and sleep deprived. This is what you get.
I'm pretty sure that's just being drunk for free. You know what they call me? Angus Whacker. Beef assassinator. Assassinator.
Cow assassin.
Cow. Dog hat. See, beer? What do I need that for?
Eventually, we were able to finally find top dead center on number one, so we set our timing and hit it with the juice. All right, here we go. Engine that's ran once before, God knows when. Couple things. 1, hell yeah. 2, why is it rev so high? Oh, because the choke's on. Oh, needed that. Damn it. This is my favorite straw. Oh, it's stuck between the steering box and the frame, well, body. Let's go to Texas, I said. It'll be fun, I said. We'll buy a bucket list car. And now my bucket list straw is gone. Come on. Timing.
New sound unlocked.
She's throaty with those open headers.
If you ever get an Elbrock or Hall, you're in one that just have this really loud whoosh sound and run like crap. Make sure you put the plug in the back of it. There's a port about this big in the rear as well. She's pretty healthy.
Yeah?
I think there's a bit of motor in this little go-kart. Alright, well, I don't know about you, but we don't have any fuel, and we've been up way too late for the last 3 nights, so I think now is the perfect spot to go to bed, bring some gas, and see if we can get that to idle better in the morning.
I agree.
We'll see you then.
Ow.
Yes. Good morning, Bandera, Texas. You and your loud-ass highway right outside our room. God damn! And apparently something that made me sneeze a lot when I woke up. Yeah, once I'm able to see again, let's go work on a Cougar. Holy shit.
Glad they eradicated those. Holy goddamn.
I'm glad they hunted those to extinction. No thanks. Government gas cans. Gotta love them. I'm putting some fuel in the car. We're gonna see if the gas pump works. We're gonna see if we get this thing to actually run a little bit this morning. And then what?
Do the rest.
Yeah. Starting with number 1 and ending with the end. Day 2, here we go. Now some fuel. Starter seems happier today.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
Too soon. Not getting anything for fuel. What are the odds there was a bug nest in the fitting before we put it on?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So far, every plug wire and fuel hose and everything's had bugs in it. All right, new, much closer to the pump fuel tank has been installed. Let's see if that pulls any fuel. Ready? Ready. Yeah, fuel pump moves fuel. All right, keep squeezing as it's emptying.
Magic smoke.
Huh. Wait, that's the alternator wiring harness. That shouldn't be hooked to anything. Oh my god, I see what's happening. Instead of that big battery cable grounding right there, they put the little cable behind it, and that little cable runs up to this ground on the alternator. But that's what the whole motor's cranking through right now. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so I could see clearly that's exactly what was happening, but it was still strange that it wouldn't just ground through the terminal into the other terminal and then into the block. They painted the engine block and they didn't clean the grounds off before they put the wires on. That paint is enough to easily disrupt all the amperage that the motor's supposed to be getting. So clean these on both sides, clean your bolt and your lock washer, clean the threads, and clean all the paint off your grounds on your block after you reassemble a motor. All right, got that all cleaned up. Extra wires out of the way, hooked straight to the block. This ought to be way better. Ready?
1 second. Yep.
As you grind the starter faster than ever.
Yep. Real well.
It's pumping fuel. So it's our needle and seat in the carburetor that's sat for 12 years.
Well, I don't want to say yes, but it sure does seem that way.
Hey, look, it runs. All right, hooked back up to our fuel tank now. Let's see if she pulls fuel. taking this from it makes a little noise to driving all the way back to Iowa, it's going to be a bit of work. About that much. We're currently here at runs, and we need to end here at drives 1,000 miles. These are our main things we need to get done, and this is all the stuff that we need to bolt on and make sure it gets checked before we hit the road, so we know this will be dependable and safe. I think we move right down the list to runs good. See if we can get this thing to run a little better with some new plugs and wires, and then probably skip to brakes and cooling and all that, because this one is going to take a little more time and involves a little pile of something behind me. Plugs and wires?
Plugs and wires.
Let's do it.
Got it.
Is that all it takes?
I found where all the compression stays in that cylinder. Blue?
Yep, this is what we're dealing with. This looks pretty much brand new. This motor's got very little runtime on it. But the fact that they painted them all, and they've sat exposed with no plug wires on them for a long time, they're pretty rusty up top. So, yeah, that one's an even better example of how well they're probably not conducting electricity. Look at that thing. It's terrible. While Angus pulls those out, I'm going to deal with this guy. As you can see, our carbon tab in the middle of this cap, not very good. And honestly, if someone's gone through all the effort to build this motor, why not spend the extra $400 and put a proper ignition system in it that you can depend on really well and easily tune? Now, I asked myself that same question a week ago, came up with no reason to not do just that. So that's what we've done. This right here is a Petronix Flamethrower 2 distributor for a 351 in Cleveland, sent to us by the great guys at Summit Racing, along with a bunch of other parts back here. But again, we'll get to those in a little bit. For now, I'm going to throw this in and wire this guy up so that we can have a proper ignition system in this car and give it all the voltage it wants to light off those big-ass 351 Cleveland pistons and send them right back down the bore with all the force necessary to boil some tires. All right, you need to pay attention where that's pointing. Pay attention to which way it rotates on the way out. Out with the old and in with the new. Look at that. Beautiful Petronix Igniter 2. Once again, thank you Summit Racing for being the best company ever and sponsoring Junkyard Digs. If you guys want to check out the stuff they have for sale, use the link down in the description. It's going to take you to the main website, but it shows Summit that you guys are watching this and paying attention to what we're saying about them supporting the channel, and thusly, they support the channel even more. Honestly, if it wasn't for Summit Racing, we probably wouldn't do half the cool builds we do. Yep. Those guys are a huge aid to the channel and really help us put stuff together and make some horsepower out of these old cars. All right, let's wire it and fire it. All right, it's been a couple minutes. I've been digging over the old wiring diagrams that came with the car. XR7s have an amp meter, so they're a little different than the rest of the Cougars, but honestly, I don't care if that works or not. Regardless, we've got our 2 power wires that run into the ignition system. Well, our 1 power wire, the yellow one, which goes to our voltage regulator over here, the same one, yellow one you see plugged in there, not the one hanging. Our heavier gauge black wire, which just goes straight forward, loops around, and comes right back to the back of the alternator here, which is now all hooked up correctly. And our starter trigger wire. Beyond that, I've plugged in the alternator and fixed some stuff down here, so that should all be good to go. In the meantime, Angus has been making plug wires. Those are coming along real nice. Once that's wrapped up, we can fire this, but until then, I'm going to throw a battery in here, turn the key, and see what systems do or do not work. Or see if, it just burst into flames. Again. All right. That's hooked up. The fire's not immediate, so that's good. I do not suspect anything in here to light up, just because that would honestly be too much to ask, but here we go. I hear relays. Those are rusted solid. There's supposed to be a warning lamp cluster up here that's missing. Nope, not with the horn. Throw this thing away. I'm going to try cranking it real quick. I've got a relay, but that's it. What? Oh my god, I think I just realized, dude, take this. I just bumped the blinker, and it works, and I hear a motor spinning in the back. I think the sequential taillights are ran off of a motor hitting contacts as it spins. I've always wondered how they do that.
Oh my god.
Does it work?
Yep, 2 of them do. One bulb is dead, and now 1 bulb over there is dead. Oh, it's fixed. It's cured.
They're sequencing. Holy shit, look at that. That's so cool. The XR7 is doing XR7 things. That's the only electrical component that works on the entire car. Is the most ridiculous, complicated part.
Good. I don't have to fix that.
Oh, This may explain something with the electrical. Dash ain't gonna work good if it's not plugged in.
That's just like your opinion, man.
I guess. I'm still not so sure someone didn't like part this car out once. It's like all the wires were cut up by the motor and disconnected, like they yanked the whole driveline out of it. The whole driveline's been replaced with a different driveline. And like, is this from this car? We do know this is an XR7, but maybe this was all taken to a junkyard and this is from something else.
Okay, been a couple minutes. Angus has all of our plug wires done. Our timing is approximated. We got a new coil on, flamethrower coil, also from Summer Racing. New plug wires are all in place, looks fantastic, and on the bottom of those, new plugs. I'm still working on the wiring, so right now I just got this hot wired, but let's see if this sucker runs any better. Hey, it actually sounds like all 8 cylinders. Off our next step on the list. I'm going to go ahead and say we can go from runs to runs good. Now from here, I think we need to move down to about yonder because this bit here is going to take a little bit of work. Ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. All right, brake time. Not that one. Brakes time, like drum brakes time. Let's see what we got up front.
Not much.
Where's all the hardware?
Where's all the shoes?
Okay, you know what? We might not be as screwed as I thought. Because I'm used to, rear drum brakes. There's all that extra stuff for the parking brake.
Yeah. Yeah, this should, sure. Was that convincing enough?
I suppose we call O'Reilly's?
We have to.
All right, been a couple minutes. We got ourselves a relay wired in so that our distributor is being fed 12 volts straight from the battery, and it's signaled off the exciter wire for our voltage regulator. You may notice the battery is missing right now. That's because it's a little low, but that's not to stop us at all because we have El Jefe. A little maintenance on El Jefe. What?
Yeah. She leaks a little water, and I say leaks because it just leaves little puddles of water everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not a head gasket.
Third of a gallon in like 800 miles or something.
Yeah, very, very tame use of water.
She does have her quirks, that's for sure.
Yeah, the dash lights don't work. It kind of pulses all the lights at any given point.
AC doesn't work.
AC doesn't work. We could fix that.
We could. Good stuff, El Jefe. Good stuff. All right. Thanks for the juice.
While the battery charged, I replaced the thermostat with a new 160-degree one, and Angus worked on the front brakes. After that, I dug into the electrical, where I found our dimmer switch was missing, but with a little creative wiring, I was able to get the headlights to work. At some point, we drove to O'Reilly's and El Jefe once again to pick up a dimmer switch and other parts, and once those were installed, we had a working high and low beam.
Got highs, lows. Whoa! I'm watching this thing fill with smoke. It's actually kind of incredible.
That looks good.
Oh,
there
it's
it goes.
dead.
All I had to do was say it looks good. Well, good news. I anticipated such a thing. We got new ones.
Yay.
All right, finishing things off up front. Got new shocks in place. The old ones were, partially disassembled and totally ruined. Angus has got this corner done. He's working on the other side right now. One thing we need to replace yet is these brake lines, and I'll show you why. Even though they may look fine, which they definitely don't. These things are obliterated. But often, even though old brake lines may look fine, what happens is on the inside, they swell shut internally. See that guy right there? And if I cut it anywhere else again, most likely, yeah, completely swollen shut inside. Now this is either going to allow you to do nothing, or more likely, and what happens all the time, is it allows you to press fluid through it one way, under the hundreds of PSI that your brake system creates, but it will then act as a one-way valve and not let it go back naturally. It will keep your brakes on. It causes dragging calipers and drums and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, put new brake lines on. Beyond that, it's just straight up a safety thing. Like these break and you don't have brakes and then you crash and everyone's sad now. All right, let's see if I can get these off of here. They're a little tricky.
I mean, that's like the same as a brake lathe, right?
I'm pretty much a bend pack ranger myself.
Well, you know, all our brand new hardware fits where it's supposed to go.
Weird. You gotta love it when that goes together that easy.
Yeah.
You know what else you gotta love?
Drum brakes.
Drum brakes.
I've heard that somewhere before. I can't put my finger on where.
I'll tell you where. JunkyardDigs.com. Head over there and check out all of our merch. We got the I Heart Drum Brake shirt I've been wearing all day. The I don't know if it's fixed, but it's different shirt. The classic corporate logo. All sorts of great stuff. As well as a whole slew of stickers and all sorts of other things. So if you guys like drum brakes just like us, because they are cheap and effective and work just fine, check out the shirt, JunkyardDigs.com. All right, in the meantime, while Angus has been working on that, I have put together our master cylinder and got it all bled up and ready to go. Let's slap that in the car, plug in the lines, and bleed this sucker up, and hopefully cross brakes off the list. With the new master cylinder installed, we dropped in new shocks to wrap up everything in the front end of the car. I gave Hamilton some scratchies, and Angus dug into the rear brakes, which, as we found out, someone else had already replaced, along with all the brake lines to the rear. With that, we dug straight into bleeding the brakes, which is where we ran into a big issue. I am currently on the rear axle trying to bleed up our brakes, and as we were forcing fluid back, all of a sudden I started to get drips all over the place. And it was mainly right here. You can see everything's wet. And no matter how much I tightened this, I couldn't seemingly get this flare to hold. I took it apart, and lo and behold, there is no flare. It's just a straight piece of line. I can't help but notice it's leaking back here, too. Here, I thought we were going to be all set. We don't have to do any brake lines. What are the odds none of these are flared? I love working on stuff other people have worked on. It's always something new every time. Alright, well, let's go get a flare tool. With that, we hopped in El Jefe once again and took another trip to town for tools. I think we have the most common vehicle in Texas, a pewter Tahoe. You can't go a half mile without seeing 3 of these damn things. Why the hell is everything locked? We need a test light.
Let's go. Boing.
I bet you that helps, huh?
No, I bet you it's different. Oh yeah, the nut doesn't come off? That's different as heck.
Alright, a little magic has happened off camera. Everything seals now. We fixed all the leaks. Angus is doing an adjustment on the drums. But besides that, our brakes are done. Which means I get to come over here and go like this. Front brakes, rear brakes, master, front shocks, brakes. Oh, and you know what? I tested this. Charging system works as well. And the lights are fixed. Hell yes. This says suspension. I guess that was just the shocks. That's also done. Alright, I think it's about time we focus on this guy right here and see if this sucker will move. In order to move the car, I needed some kind of throttle linkage, so I set up some zip ties. However, unfortunately, the Edelbrock's return spring was not nearly strong enough to outweigh just the weight of the pedal. But that's okay, because I found a solution laying around. Ta-da! How about that? Brum, brum, brum. Mechanic! Alright, let's see if the Cougar drives. Check off drives. I don't think our mirror's going to be any good. Well, you know what? This just says drives in general, so I think we can check that off, because this did technically just drive. What do you think next, Goose? We move into the fun stuff?
Yeah, certainly ignore the starter that doesn't engage.
Well, actually, that's part of what we're dealing with next. It has to come off, because it's time for headers. Alright, finally, it is time to break into the fun stuff sitting over here in the corner. Starting things off, we got our pile of stuff from Summit Racing, which we mentioned earlier, but this time, we're talking about these ceramic-coated Flowtech headers. These are for a 67 Cougar with a 351 Cleveland, which I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but that was never an engine option in this car.
So the fact that someone had these specific swap headers on hand and here in just a couple days for an awesome price is a miracle. Well, probably not, because they do that all the time. It's Summit Racing, so I guess it's just commerce for them. Regardless, we should pick up a couple more horsepower with that, and it will pair well with this. This is an entire exhaust system for a 67 Cougar from our buddies at Pipes. This is going to go really well with those and give this Cougar a badass sound and a set of shotgun exhaust right out underneath the bumper. Once we're done with that, we're going to move over to these, a set of Vision rims from Summit Racing, wrapped and radial GTs, TAs, BFGs. Letters and numbers and stuff, you know. And speaking of letters and numbers and such, once again, make sure you check out the link in the description for Summit and the link for Pipes. If you use the code JYD on Pipes website, you'll actually get free shipping on their exhaust products. All right, let's get this stuff strapped on this car and make this thing badass.
With that, Angus and I set straight to work. We had to remove the driver's side motor mount bolt, but we were able to lift the motor a little bit and get the old headers out. With those out of the way, it was time to start test fitting the new headers. The passenger side went on perfect and cleared everything, but unfortunately our driver's side had a bit of an issue with the Z-bar.
So that right there is our Z-bar. That is what goes between the chassis and the engine on this side, and it lets our clutch push on things and stuff and move that fork that's hard to see down there, specifically that one. Now unfortunately that Z-bar exists pretty much in the middle of the header, so that's not great. It's not what you want. However, we think that we can still get it in there through a gap in the header right here. This guy specifically will go through that gap. I think we can chop this off and move it all the way over here, and then hopefully extend our clutch fork and still make this work, or so we hope. The other option we know will work is to call Silver Sport Transmission, have them ship us a 67 specific slave cylinder bracket kit and everything, and a top loader specific McCool hydraulic slave clutch thing, throwout bearing, hydraulic throwout bearing. However, there's a problem with that. It is Saturday. We've been at this for 4 days. 4 days. Tuesday? No, we started Wednesday.
3 days.
This is day 4.
4 days.
Angus ain't great at counting. It's Saturday, which means they can't ship anything until Monday, so we won't see it until Tuesday, which, Angus, you do the math, is
4 days.
3 days, exactly. So we're going to try to modify the Z-bar clutch to see if we can get that to work. If not, we're here for another
4 days.
3 days, exactly.
Hey, we should probably do this frost plug while we're here.
Oh my god, I forgot all about that. I don't even know if we showed that on camera. I'll send down the Angus cam.
Hi, Mom. That's our bad frost plug. He is bad.
So just the one is rusty for some reason. We got the starter out because we are going to oil it, and you know, in all reality, it's probably full of bugs.
Yeah, there's bugs in our starter.
Everything we've touched has been full of these damn mud daubers. These bastards filling every hole and every carburetor orifice and every brake cylinder bleeder thing. Survey says, ain't no good. Oh, wow. I'd like to say it's been a few seconds since we were last on screen, but it's been probably 2 hours.
It's been a while.
How was your trip to town, Angus?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did you have fun with the Texas parts stores?
I've picked up smoking as a hobby, if that tells you anything. It was fine. I wouldn't recommend doing it again.
Yeah, the parts stores down here have been a mess all week. I didn't know how well we had it up in Iowa, where everything is available, and all the people that work there are pretty darn good. From what I've learned in life is that parts stores base their inventory off cars that are registered in the county. Regardless, the problem we've had is, like, you can't get a set of 302 spark plug wires. Made the engine for 60 years. You know what else we couldn't get? Small block Chevy spark plug wires. Also not available. End rant. Anyway, yes. It's been a while. Angus now finally has a frost plug after 3 stops. And I have been bashing on a header and grinding and cutting on the clutch stuff while you've been gone.
Playing a mechanic on TV shouldn't be hard.
Look at all those idiots on the car shows that do it. Why do we have so much trouble? Oh, because we're the ones actually doing it. That's
we have
right.
2
I
people.
forgot we're not fake. Yep, okay. Moving on.
With the frost plug debacle finally out of the way, Angus put the new one into the block and I installed the radiator and hoses. With the cooling system finally done, it was time to whip out our fabrication skills and build a new Z-bar.
Alright, I know I'm not a good welder, but holy shit. This is the worst welder I've ever seen in my life. This took us 10 minutes to do that. Okay. Time to go find a welder somewhere.
After taking the tip completely off and messing with the cobbled up ground wire, we were able to get the Hobart to finally weld enough to stick the main part to it.
I don't know if this is fixed, but it's different. Ladies and gentlemen, meet this stick.
It's more of a Z-bar now than it ever was.
Oh no! The hot grease just fell out like a big blob of ketchup.
Alright, Mr. Goose.
That's me, what's up?
Let's see if it works.
At this point, we'd been cutting and grinding and welding on this thing for a few hours, and we needed a little motivation. To do that, we had just the thing. We bolted the headers on all the way and lit the car off to hear those suckers sing wide open.
Starting to see why people spend so much money on Cleveland's.
Well, this wasn't part of our plan.
Nope,
Never is, right?
never is.
Now that the Z-bar modifications were complete and the headers were in, it was time to work on extending the clutch fork to reach past the headers. To do this, we had to remove the transmission and bell housing because extending the clutch fork meant that we couldn't put it in while it was in the car. The only way we could test fit it was to install the entire bell housing with the clutch fork each time. Unfortunately, when it came time to tack things together, the welder had completely taken a shit on us, so we decided to call it a night and head to Harbor Freight the next morning and grab a cheap welder.
Twinning.
Yeah, so as it turns out, Rusty had the same idea, and he also went to Harbor Freight and bought a new welder. Regardless, the next morning we set to work at extending our clutch fork about 3 inches to get around that header and hopefully align with our repositioned clutch rod.
Alright, there you go. Extendo clutch fork. For once, I'm pretty confident this is not going to fall apart. Let's go see if we did it just right and see if we can make this thing work.
Alrighty, been a little bit. Got our extended clutch fork all painted up, looking nice. As you can see, there's our rod and our clutch lever over there. It's at a goofy angle right now because the trans is out, so we need to get this trans back in, get everything lined up, and then we can adjust our rod length or whatever, and pray to God that we can make this work.
Keywords are pray and God.
After a little more wiggling and some adjusting on the clutch rod, we had it all together, and it was finally time to test it.
Hey, this might even work. Look at that.
Holy shit.
I think we might have did it.
We may have saved ourselves $700 on a clutch.
Yay.
I'll go hit the pedal and find out.
It is moving.
It just stays on the floor, but
That could be an issue.
I think it's all bent up in here. We gotta fix that yet. Those are not the right angles. Headers. Holy hell, that was like an entire day. What's next? Zoust?
Zoust.
Zoust. Alright, it is finally time to make this thing sound good. And because we're off in a shop where we don't have much for fabrication equipment, I know exactly what we needed to do, which was get a hold of the guys down at Pipes and get a prefab kit sent to us. With this, we're going to be able to go all the way from the headers through the X pipe into a set of their awesome mufflers over the axle and then right out the back with just clamps. This is all constructed from stainless steel. The build quality is excellent. Honestly, they're one of the favorite companies for exhaust that we've worked with on the channel, and I really like their products and love the way those mufflers sound. And remember, if you go to Pipe's website, you can use the code JYD for free shipping. All right, let's get this sucker hung and start wrapping this car up. And with this kit, you're supposed to take the excess pipe length out of the rear of the X pipe. Now, obviously, I don't know how much that is, so I started with the tails, placed them exactly where I wanted, and then started working my way forward. From there, it was just a matter of alignment and attaching hangers to the car. When we got to the front, we did have to make a slight angle change because the headers were of a different brand, but with a little bit of fabrication, we were able to make that happen.
Well, we've got this tube cut to a different length of tube. We've also cut the bottom side in a pie cut so we can adjust our angle a little bit. And with that, well, it might even work.
Now our Pipes exhaust system matches our Flowtech headers.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, it's gonna look damn good under here too.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful. That's badass. Look at the back end of this car. Get the sequential taillights going. Perfect. While I set to work welding our pie cuts in the radius, El Jefe got a bath. although it was a really abrasive bath.
Oh no, our deductible!
Our safety deposit.
Ah, jeez.
You know what? They might be ugly, but for $140 flux weld, that's not bad.
Not worse than we could have done at home.
Pretty much, yeah. Guaranteed to seal too. Dude, that little thing flux.
Dumb.
Moo, Texas, yeah. Moo. There we go. Angus is now in Angus.
I finally transcended.
I think Zeke. No.
Oh, he doesn't like your welding.
He doesn't like my welding.
No, I don't blame him.
Let's get these in place and call it a night and come strap it all together in the morning. We'll see you then.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Goose.
Good morning, Mr. Kevin.
Today is what me and my allergies hope is the final day down here in Texas working on the Cougar. Last night we finished up the front half of the exhaust. Case in point, our X pipe is in place. Everything looks good here. Now, this pipe's X pipe is something a little special. Many times in the past we've ran dual exhaust. What are you?
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Oh no. In the past, we've ran dual exhaust on vehicles and usually not put a balance pipe between them, an X pipe or an H pipe. And you get that really distinct left, right, 2 4 cylinders kind of noise going on. But on the Bonneville, we ran a pipes kit, and I suddenly realized exactly how important that crossover pipe is. I knew it was important, but I didn't realize how much better it made everything sound, especially if your exhaust exits out the side and not straight out the back. Case in point, remember that gold and white F-250 we did?
Oh, God.
Sounded like a 4-cylinder tractor going down the road? Yeah. Because you could only hear 4 of the cylinders at a time. A balance pipe would have made a huge difference on that truck. Now, to correlate this more directly to this car, you guys have heard this run with open headers. Let's fire it up the X pipe, let you hear it with no exhaust, and then Angus and I are going to slip the mufflers on and quiet this thing way down with those Turbo Pros so we can have a nice, comfortable drive home and still have some throaty sounding noise out the back. Ready, Goose?
Ready.
Let's hit the button. All right, give her a couple revs for me. Oh yeah. All right, now let's slip those mufflers into place. Whoa. Way quiet. Those are way quiet. Good though. You know, I'm hearing for the first time.
Lifter tick.
Got some lifter tick going on. Might get to do those valve cover gaskets after all. They might be shimmed wrong. That's all shimmed.
Yeah.
Surely we can find shim somewhere. I can't believe how quiet those things are.
I agree.
I went from violently loud to perfectly mild for a daily driver.
Yeah, I mean,
But a good
that's
healthy,
a good thing.
So we have to do 1,000 miles. Let's finish that exhaust. Alrighty, there it is. Our entire pipe's exhaust system is in place. Oh, dude. Give her. Oh, yeah. That sounds damn good. That's going to be really good under a load. Alright, I think we can cross off pipes and check off exhaust. Alright, time now for this right here. Wheels and tires. Let's get some real meats on this. And just like the roadkill guys used to say, if you want to make any old car look good, all you gotta do is change to a new set of wheels and tires, and it'll be a whole different vehicle. Out with the old, and in with the new. These wheels are from Vision. We got these off Summit Racing. I've ran these on a couple cars now, not because I've sought out Vision each time, it's just that whenever we seem to need rims, these guys have the ones that fit the size and backspacing and everything we need. I know they're of great quality, and they're incredibly affordable versus all the others. For instance, these are $106 a piece. Everything else is in like the $180 to $200 range. Fronts look like they fit pretty good with that offset. The rears are probably have to roll the fender lip ½ inch, 3/4 inch further inward with your offset. Thankfully this car's in 4-wheel drive mode with these giant lifts back here, so that's actually sitting at ride height right now. Oh dude, hell yes. Alright, let's finish the last few things in this list and get this sucker on the ground and go for a test drive. To wrap things up, we reinstalled some bits in the interior, finished constructing a rod to connect the gas pedal to the carburetor, reinstalled the shifter boot and shift knob, and put a battery tie down on the battery. With all that done, we were ready for a test drive, but before we ran the motor much more, I wanted to take those valve covers back off and figure out what was making all the noise.
We are into our motor, as you can see, chasing down that valve train noise. I've got 2 exhaust valves next to each other removed. We had one that made no noise and one that made a bunch of noise. This one has a bunch of shims in it, and I made a bunch of shims. 3 to be exact, and this one has none. To make this make sense, I'll explain it a little bit. These are pedestal style rockers instead of having an adjustable nut where the rocker's pivot point floats up and down on a stud. These bolt straight to the bottom with this flat surface. You adjust the height of this by putting shims under this piece here, right in this groove, and it raises the whole thing. And you just torque them down to whatever the bolt's torque value is, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, approximately 1.3 billion years ago on the channel, I was working on my F100, and I went through the motor and measured all of my valve clearances and stuff to figure out what shims I needed to order. Everything was 30 thousandths except for one, measured out to be 60 thousandths, which I thought was odd, but hey, maybe that's an anomaly, who knows. Put all the shims in, plus the 1/60 thousandth on that one valve, and sure enough, that one made a bunch of noise, just like this. I thought, that's weird. It's kind of strange that that one that makes noise was the one with the tall shim. It really shouldn't have had any different shim on any different valve, because it's all the same machining. It should have been equal all the way across. Took that one off, put a 30 thousandths back in, and it was dead silent. What happened there, and likely here, is that when I was measuring my valve clearance and whatnot, the lifter that I was measuring on collapsed a little more than the other ones, didn't have as much oil in it. I bet if we take the shims out of this valve rocker, it's dead silent.
I'd say that's right. I mean, having taken 2 intake valves off and finding none under one and a lot under the other, it's different.
All right, well, we've been playing musical shims for a little bit. This one was loose, this one was too tight, and that one was clearly too loose, so we've done a bunch of flipping and flopping, and now they look like they might be okay. We don't know.
We might have just made it way worse.
We may
Who
have.
knows?
Seeing how these are all a little goofy, maybe the shop that built it just didn't do great on shimming. So yeah, I don't know if it's fixed.
But it's different.
Let's see if she ticks. Go ahead, sir. What is going on? Well, we keep losing spark. Okay, 2 things. 1, no more valve noise. Well done. And then thing number 2, I figured out why we're having a starting issue. The wire I chose for power wire to the coil doesn't always have power when cranking. I forgot a very crucial step. Make sure the wire has power when cranking. Oh, I can just pull it off the eye of the solenoid. Duh. That's quite literally what that terminal is there for. Our Ford solenoids right here have 2 terminals. This one's the start solenoid, and this one's the eye, the ignition, the override. This is designed to put 12 volts through the system so that when you're running on the Duraspark point system that only has 9 volts, it gets 12 volts while cranking. What I'm going to do is hook that to my signal wire over here on our relay that's feeding 12 volts to our coil, so that if I am in the start position, it's either going to get the 12 volts from there or there and always have power every time. Cool. What's next on the list? I think we can cross off wheels and tires, valve noise, and new valve cover gaskets. Almost there. Almost there.
With all that stuff done, we were finally ready to take this on a real test drive.
There's very little clutch feel because of that longer fulcrum we've added.
Yep.
Holy shit, look at it, we're driving it.
We're driving this car.
We're driving the Cougar. It's got no power steering. How are the brakes? And their brakes.
They stop it.
They slow it. Here we go, onto the road for the first time in God knows how long. This is simple enough. I just have to do 1,000 miles like this.
Yeah, we're pretty much there,
Let's
actually.
go. Yeah. Looks like we got good clutch engagement. There's Zeke. Look at him go. Go, Zeke, go. You might have to run a little quicker than that to beat this thing, dog. Yeah, my clutch is stuck up. for. He's got some nuts. Needs a little tuning. There's a little dead spot there. Look at this thing has got. Oh yeah. Jeez, holy shit. Our timing is definitely slow right now, and we need to make that curve come in earlier, but you really felt it come alive there.
Oh yeah.
Temps coming up, 170, 180. We don't have a fan on this yet, I just remembered. So we should probably go back. Lord have mercy, we got ourselves a race car. Those pipes sound good. Yeah, they do. Damn. 5 days and we're finally driving the Cougar. Alright, brake check, there's Zeke. Yeah, it just goes to the floor. I don't know why. What is up with that? They're bled perfect. We swear we had the adjustment proper, but I can touch the floor. It's like the brake pedal throw needs to be longer. Alright, let's go back to the shed and figure it all out. Okay, we're back. The sun is gone. It's not trying to kill us anymore. It's pretty decent out. Time for second shift. So, as you heard us complaining in our test drive, our brakes sucked. We've come up with a theory. This guy, our master cylinder push rod, too short. Seems like at the bottom of the pedal, the brakes kind of try to do something and then we run out of pedal and hit the floor. Also, seems like the pedal, way too low. Now usually, once these are in, they're in. You can't remove them again. But this one has a plastic or rubber clip here at the end, and Angus was able to actually just pull it out by accident.
I just pulled the pedal back and it just went.
So that's cool, because we don't have to take the master cylinder off now. Yay! What we do have to do is cut this and then weld it to a new length and try it all again. Hopefully we'll have brakes. If there was an award we offered for the car that was the most, I don't know if it's fixed, but it's different, this one takes the cake. We have done some bullshit on this car. I gotta weld the other side yet, but that is a brake rod that is now 6 1/4 inches long. This one's absolutely getting, and I don't know if it's fixed, but it's a different sticker. Which you guys can get as well at junkyarddigs.com. Go check it out. All sorts of new stickers on the website. Alright, there we go. Brake pedal rod is ready to go. You know, the only thing separating us from just complete hacks is the little bit of black paint that we're putting on this. And for that, I appreciate our efforts. So, next problem. Hopeful solution. As you guys heard me mention, the clutch pedal was sticking all the way down. I don't know how well you can see, but right there in our steering column, actually you can see excellently, that was hitting that guy, the L shape right there, which is attached to the clutch pedal. Angus has done a bunch of work to the pedals to try to straighten them out. They're all bent to hell. The whole thing looks like it's in there crooked. So we've been fighting that. I can't get any tools in there to clearance those. And then we thought of the brilliant idea of, hey, why don't we just unbolt the steering wheel and throw a couple washers under it. Give it a little more clearance that way.
I don't think a little black paint's going to undo that hackery, but it will work.
So yeah, we're going to throw those in there, hopefully space that out, fix our clutch pedal, put that rod in, and then see if we have full brakes. Survey says...
Hey, those feel like real life brakes. Made out of real life brakes.
Son of a bitch!
I think those might even work.
Our brake rod was too short. We had to extend it to 6 1/4 inches.
Yep.
How's the clutch?
Clutch?
Does it stick to the floor?
Nope. It just barely touches the same thing, but doesn't matter because it doesn't stick to the floor.
Oh my god, we fixed the pedals. We
are
have
the
welded
best.
bullshit onto 2 of those pedals now. And then I made this out of basically a coat hanger rod, but thicker.
Fabricator.
What do you think?
Well, we have 2 options. We can test drive it in the middle of the night, piss off all this guy's neighbors, this guy who's been very nice to us, allowing us to use his shop.
Or the more ridiculous one.
We could go to the hotel and go to bed.
Yeah.
So I'll take this off the jack stands, you move El Jefe, we'll go take
Yeah,
it first.
I'll cut the catalytic converter off the Tahoe as well. Alright, I think we're going to call it a night here, and we'll see you guys in the morning for a little bit of engine tuning, probably off camera, and then a more final test drive, at which point we can cross off, fun's great, and then we hit the road.
I'll hit the road right now, I'm ready.
Be my guest.
Where's the road? Where's the driveway stop?
Yes, another day started off driving El Jefe, as is every day.
One last trip to O'Reilly's to get the very last things.
Yep, God, I hope so.
We've done 1,100 miles.
What a good Tahoe. Huh.
They must be making a new Fast and Furious movie.
All right, let's pull in with the Tahoe and show them what we got. I have never felt more out of place in my life.
I just wanted some tacos.
Ah! That way, Mr. Goose. Finally, something nice. Here you go, sir. You know, we're probably unironically the two largest names here. We brought a Tahoe. Right on brand.
Yeah.
Dude, never mind everything else. What the hell? It's a Mazda Ford Explorer. I didn't know that existed. Alright, back into the best car here. This is our final morning working on the car, I swear. I just threw a timing light on this. Our stock curve and whatnot on the distributor was actually pretty good. Angus is installing our quote-unquote overflow container, which we
Liberated
Yes.
from behind a bar.
Finally, after 6 days of working on this car, we were down to the last few items. While Angus vacuumed out the interior, I cleaned up our gauges and dash. Turns out we had a magical tack that, even when not hooked to anything, likes to move around. I'm going to assume that this is either full of spirits, bugs, or maybe it was just the wind. I don't know. Regardless, I cleaned all the bugs out of the dash, plugged it in, and slapped it in place. With that done, it was finally time to install a new starter. Now, I cut most of this out of the video because it was a horrendous noise, but every time we tried to start the car, this thing would grind about 10 times before finally engaging. As you can see, somebody went at the old starter with a grinder, so the alignment wasn't quite right, and it was causing it to grind. Here you go. After a little finagling, we got that in place and decided to go give the car one last test drive. Oh god, right in the knee. I will say the steering wheel's a little low now. Okay, that's, oh, I gotta go further into my knee for reverse? Jesus, it's about it touches the key. Now, brakes? We have brakes. They need broken in, but we have them. Stuff was pretty good off the line. Wow, that flex fan is incredibly loud.
Yes, it is.
Oh, this sucks. Damn aftermarket shifter pins my leg in the steering wheel. I don't fit in this damn car, which is funny because I fit in that Mustang excellently. Oh, that fan is horrible. Nothing crazy, but it's not bad. I think that fan's eating up about 35 horsepower from the way it sounds. Alright, let's do a brake test. Oh yeah. We got brakes. We gotta do something about this horrible shifter angle right here. But beyond that, I think we have what we call an operable car that we can start heading north with. Let's do it. With that, we returned to the shop one last time to bend the shift rod into a usable position, do an oil change on the motor since it was pretty fresh, and of course, install the hood. With that bolted on, we packed all our stuff in and hit the road. Alrighty. Oil pressure's good, temperature's low for now. The Cougar is all buttoned up, packed up, and ready to go.
Cougar is ready to prowl.
You said that. Alright. We have 1,055 miles to go until home, but for now, 289 miles to go to Summit Racing in Dallas, Texas, because we are going to need a fan shroud.
Yes, we are, desperately.
And a different fan that doesn't sound like Ric Flair.
Yes.
Goodbye, Elfe. Or the best Tahoe ever made. Fading away in the mirror. If anyone wants to buy that, it's down in Bandera, Texas. $2,500 should be an email. Get this out of here. Get it out of Rusty's yard. Thank you, sir. All right, let's hit the road. Onto the highway the first time, and God knows how long. Look at all the leaves. Holy shit. I'm open. We're doing it. The Cougar is couging. A lot of warm air coming in. There's a few holes in the firewall.
Oh, I forgot all
about those.
Me too. Holy shit, you have a forest by your feet.
Wow.
That's a cool little bio we started. Alright. Guys, well, get comfortable, Mr. Goose. We've got 5 hours left to go.
Jesus.
Well, something just went really bad. I was accelerating, and all of a sudden the car just went off, and then I heard what sounded like a pop, maybe. It very rapidly shut off, so I bet our ignition wire or something came unplugged. Damn, we made it like
5 miles.
5 miles. I bet our fuel pump died.
Oh.
Got like 5 miles. Is that a new record? Accelerator pump's got tons of fuel. Oh, I see it. The hood cut a hole in the ignition wire. See this up here? Damn hood, causing us all sorts of issues. All right, well, let's find a big rock and bash that in. Just like in the Army, a rock or something. Body man. Bongo bongo. All right, let's see how many 5s and miles we make it this time. Oh no. We have no spark now. I think it's grounding out to the hood still. And our O'Reilly's core battery doesn't have much left in it. We've got like 1 shot to make this run. Okay, I guess this one's done for, huh? We've got a pretty good cut in this guy too, so if we get a miss, we'll keep an eye on him. At least we brought all the old spark plug wires.
Yeah. With the new plug wire in place, we fired it up off camera, and the fan immediately crashed into the hood. We decided since this hood was wrecked anyway, at this point we better go back to Rusty's and cut the center out so we can just eliminate this problem entirely.
There we go. Now we can hammer that dent out. I've survived an entire week using the Uber Death Grinder. I say it's time to finally go home. Alright, there we go. Got everything taped up. I was able to replace that center lead. I had one of those left over that we left here at Rusty's. Angus is shoving some much needed rags in the holes over there because it's like a blast furnace coming out of the firewall.
It's bad.
It's bad. I think this is a problem, but we forgot to put on the brake master cylinder boot.
You know what else we forgot to put on?
What's that?
A Junkyard Digs sticker.
Holy shit, you're right. No wonder we broke down. Where are those? We need one of these immediately. We're breaking out the big guns, Angus. I don't know if it's fixed, but it's different. You know what? I'm going to double up on it, too. There we go. Now we got to make it to Iowa.
God, I hope so.
If you guys want to make your own stuff and more, you can check it out on the website. We've got the normal one and all these, as well as all the shirts you've seen on this episode. Back on the road?
Please.
Why? It's way cooler out here.
True.
Okay, this is it. Goodbye, Rusty.
Bye, man.
We're leaving, I swear. The fan will suck us down the road if nothing else. I would honk, but those don't work.
Goodbye again, Elfe.
The world's best Tahoe.
So far.
Everybody say goodbye to Zeke. Bye, Zeke boy. Bye, Zeke. Alright. Onto the road again. Let's see how far we make it this time. 5 hours again. New personal best. Onward and upward towards Iowa.
Looking to make any sort of progress towards Dallas today, we put the hammer down through the back roads of Texas towards Bernie.
Got a little heat getting in the motor. And we're just now rolling up into town, so I'm expecting that sucker to go up quick. No shroud, it's not gonna like it, to say the least.
By the time we made it out the other side of town, our temp was up to around 210 degrees. Thinking it just needed more air through the radiator, we hit the back roads and opened her up. However, it didn't seem to help. In fact, seemingly, the more we drove, the hotter the motor got. By the time we'd driven an hour, the motor was already pushing 230 degrees, which is way too hot for my liking.
I don't know if we're running out of coolant or what's happening, but we need to find a spot to pull off here soon.
Yeah, it's getting real hot.
Of course, we're in the middle of nowhere.
A liquor store.
Liquor store. Liquor, I hardly know her.
They have an Apache.
Ew. go, Southern cars doing Southern car things. And the cooling system's made of poop and shit. I don't think this block ever got cleaned when we went through the machine shop.
No, it appears not.
And now it's our problem. God, I hate Southern cars. Everyone says they're the best. No rust, blah, blah, blah.
You know who says that? Body men.
Everything's corroded to hell. And your cooling systems? Junk. Oh, that was hot.
Well, if it's low, I'll be surprised.
Seeing that we didn't have a garden hose on us to flush the cooling system, we decided to just top it off with water and keep driving for the night.
This is new. Can't say I've ever experienced whatever that was. It is still. The engine's going blip, blip, blip. We noticed that, and we talked about it a little bit off camera. It's like, you hear that pulse that the motor has? It's literally turning on and off for some reason. We're like losing power half the time. I don't know. I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually.
I'm sure it'll tell us.
Despite the weird surging being more prevalent now, our coolant temperatures were looking a lot better, so we decided to keep the hammer down and head north.
Oh, check it out, we're passing the Colorado River. That means we left Texas.
I certainly don't think so.
Aw, damn it. That sucks.
Eventually, we came across an O'Reilly's where we decided to stop and get some radiator flush.
Alright, Angus, 3-in-1 radiator flush. A regular radiator flush was on sale.
Well, we only have the one radiator. But it has 3 times the bugs that it should.
I think that's what it is. Angus and I have a theory. What has happened here is the same thing that's been causing problems on the entire damn revival. It's full of bugs. This didn't have radiator hoses on it. This shit's probably full of bugs. So we're gonna run some flush through here and keep going tonight. And then tomorrow, before we leave, I think we're gonna dump the whole system. Try to find a garden hose, flush everything up and down to the motor and the radiator, and then hopefully we should be good. We've already seen improvements over just the last time. So I can't imagine this hurts it. That isn't a bug, that's a bird.
That's not a June bug. That's a June, July, and August bug. Golly.
Survey says,
14 and a half miles per gallon per our calculations.
sold. I'm the best auctioneer ever. Texas ain't seen shit.
With coolant flush in the radiator and fuel in the tank, we continued on towards Killeen, Texas, where we found a Hotel 6 and crashed for the night. The next morning, we kicked things off by heading to the nearest O'Reilly's and attempting to flush out the radiator.
I was curious about this, and sure enough, as you can see, after this settled all night, this engine's full of mud. Let's pull our lower radiator hose and flush this a few times, and I think we can get this cleaned out and stick with just the green stuff up top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is hot.
Yeah, look at that. Our radiator's getting clogged up. Alright, we need to flush that out and then we might be good to go. We know we're definitely going to have to take that radiator off and flush it upside down with some buckets or get a garden hose or something, but for now, hopefully this will be, a little better. Hindsight, and I always forget to do this. The best thing to do is to take some cheesecloth and put it over the radiator right here so that all that rust in the block builds up here and doesn't go into your radiator. And I always forget to do it. And this time, for once, they burned us. Angus has had a genius idea. Remove the top radiator hose. Then we can flush everything out of there before it gets in the radiator. And, maybe in theory, but it didn't really work, flush all the rust out of the top, but this way. Go ahead, sir. Today we all gotta learn how much fluid comes out the top. Alright, I'll be the first to say I didn't see that coming. Shut her down. We've made a mess of it. A lot more flow there than I thought.
Huh. Good water pump.
Okay, we've refined our process. Put the hose back on. Seems to be working. There's still bits of rust stuck up here in these main passages, but not too much we can do about that right now. Except the ones I can reach. But I think, for the most part, all of our shit is out of the motor. It's even sitting here out of water, mostly out of water. We're only doing 170 degrees, so I think we can call this good. Let's fill it up, button it up, and keep moving. All right, we've been sitting here idling a little bit as we flush that all out. Our temp is right over 180. So I think this is gonna be a lot better. We still have a bit of rust in the radiator, but we'll worry about that later. For now, we need to get this thing a bath because, I don't know if you noticed, but the tires are still blue.
Oh, I noticed.
We look like idiots.
Yes, we do.
Don't worry, Sergeant Suds is 6 minutes away.
You're kidding.
Nope. Onward, Sergeant Suds.
It's an oddly specific keep back distance. 343 feet.
What? Son of a bitch, they renamed Sergeant Suds.
What have they done to my boy?
Alright, let's give this thing a bath. Okay, I think this is what you would consider an abandoned car wash.
Yes.
Everything's turned off and it took my quarter. Assholes. Alright, the good news, this one at least works up front. The bad news, that's it. I put all $4 of quarters in before I realized that. Ames got the abrasion brush, and I guess am the rinse cycle. You can't even get all that damn shit off the tires.
After merely sprinkling water on the car, we miraculously found a vacuum that worked and vacuumed all the leaves out of the footwell.
Well, we didn't get any of the blue off the tires, but the car's cleaner now. The hood looks a lot better. Back in the car and start heading north?
Absolutely.
Summit Racing in Dallas, here we come. We still got a pile of things to fix today. Alright, hold on your nuts. Added a little more timing. She's a little happier.
Yeah, it is.
The fan, just as loud as ever.
Yay.
And our weird pulsing power is still there. It's gotta be valves.
It's gotta be.
Like 3 cylinders next to each other, I don't know. We're in the high gear, in the fast lane, throttle's open, and we are out of here. Thanks, Fort Hood, you've been horrible. As is tradition. Oh no! We just factored that! Are you shit? Look at this! God damn it! I hate Texas! Oh, Sergeant Suds got an upgrade. We went to the wrong damn place. 2 hours of summer racing.
Despite the crappy car wash and the leaves and everything that was going on a typical road trip morning for us, there was one good thing, our coolant temperatures. We must have got all the rust out after all because this thing was running great going down the highway. We were able to put on good speeds and not even worry about looking at our temp gauge.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. That's not even camping.
Oh my god. I was not expecting a half-ton Chevy under that.
A bit later we saw signs promising a wonderful and mystical land ahead, so in 27 miles we pulled off to get gas at Buc-ee's.
Mooses.
Is that otter-themed gas station?
I think so, yeah.
In the otter we trust. Anyway.
I myself got an otter sandwich.
Oh
Onward to Summit Racing?
no. Onward.
Alright, leaving the otter store. We got a different vibration in the driveline that seems to be power delivery related. I think we got a dead cylinder suddenly. Look at that. Seems to do 75 just fine, so we got an hour left to Summit. We'll deal with it there. Definitely got a dead cylinder. Whole car's coming apart because of it.
Despite the Cougar suddenly running like crap, our stickers of immortality on the back window made sure that we completed the 1 hour drive all the way to Summit Racing in Arlington, Texas. We pulled the Cougar in the parking lot and then headed inside to get the parts we needed to fix it. Or at least that was our intention. This place is really distracting. There's a lot of shiny stuff. This is an FE.
They have an FE inside.
That's a built FE crate motor. What the hell? It's like a 428 or 9 or something. Yep. Okay, hear me out.
If our compression is low, that'll fix it.
Yes, more compression. Oh, son of a bitch. They do have the mufflers. We were gonna run. Alright, I got a pliers, hop on my shoulders. Let's switch those out. In all actuality though, on a related note, those Turbo Pros sound pretty damn good.
And they're very quiet.
Very quiet on the road. They're phenomenal. You stand on them, you hear them. You know, it's a shame we don't have more room in the car because there are way more things in stock at the Scratch and Sniff this year. There's 2 sets of Cleveland headers for Mercury over there. Wait, can we get rid of the uber loud stupid O'Reilly's fan?
I think we can. 17 1/4.
That should fit in our shroud.
$40 off? Yeah, we're taking it.
Alrighty, welcome to the Junkyard Digs mobile repair shop brought to you by Summit Racing. At Summit Racing. Now, thank you to the guys here. They loaned us this tent so we won't fry because we're from the north. And the sun isn't out yet up there. All right, where do we start?
Well, we know we're down a couple cylinders at the very least. We should probably figure out which cylinders they are and see if they're correlated with cylinders that we may or may not have messed with before.
Or if we can relate them to being all on one plane of the intake or another.
Yep, if it's a fuel issue, we can fix that pretty easy.
Should we fire it up and start pulling plug wires until we see which ones don't make a difference?
Yeah, we should.
Alright, we've definitely got a lot of wobbling going on. Something's got a rat nasty camshaft.
Yeah.
That was good. Number 1. 3 is good. That one's good. Number 2. No change. That one's real healthy.
That one's doing most of the work.
That one's very little to no change. Number 5. Okay, number 2 and number 5. Not very happy. Close. Listen to this. Hear that? We got a valve issue somewhere. Definitely hearing some weird induction noise. It's fuff. I went to unplug my spark plug and it ripped on me. Now, is that related or did that just fail? I don't know, but I'm not really one to believe in coincidence. Survey says
It's a spark plug. It's a lean spark plug.
a little, but not bad.
Seeing that this plug was dry meant that it had spark and it was firing. It was just really weak for some reason. We decided the best thing to do here would be a compression test, so we ran into Summit and bought a compression tester and gave her a go.
Give her. Okay, well, color me confused. 150 psi.
Oh, I was wrong.
Why doesn't that cylinder run? Huh. Let's test the other one while it's out. Throttle open and hit it. Interesting. This one's 20 psi less. Alright. Whoa, hang on. Summit Racing tent.
Borrowed Summit Racing tent.
Whoa. It's going. This is it, Angus. Hang on. Okay. We've decided to just commit to testing all the cylinders for compression. Number 6, go. This is 150. All right, we have 2 that match. Shut up, I'm trying to film over here. God damn, airplane's so inconsiderate. Okay, we've gone through with the compression tester and done all 8 cylinders, and we've got some results. As you may notice, we have a bit of a scatter board here. Number 2, we definitely did a little shim work on that one. So, wouldn't be surprised if that was wrong. But we also did shim work on 3 and 4, both of which were some of our highest scoring cylinders, except for number 8, which was an outlier, until these 2 came in. If you'll notice, the only thing consistent is that 1, 5, 6, and 7 cylinders we never touched are all 150 psi, which is below what they could be making. So I think we need to go through the whole motor, re-shim all the valves. So I think a lot of them are being held open and we're losing a lot of power.
Yep. You know what else? We have like 75 psi of oil pressure going down the road when it's cold.
You know what? You're right. I see where you're going with this.
With hydraulic lifters, there's a good chance that our shim adjustment and our weak valve springs, they're more or less acting like solid lifters at this point.
Those are probably factory springs with a slightly bigger cam. All right, I'm going to head into the store and grab ourselves some shims.
I'm going to hold the tent.
You hold the tent and pop the valve covers off. Good luck, bye.
With that, I went back into Summit Racing and placed an order for all the parts we would need to successfully finish this trip. I waited in line for a couple minutes, and the next thing I knew, they had my parts wheeled out, ready to go. And just like that, we're good to go. What's up? Maybe.
I got the goods. Tell you what, the shipping around here is about as fast as you can walk. That's awesome. Look how tight these damn valves are. Nothing moves at all until you get to right here. This one right here is nice and wiggly on our exhaust. It's the only one that had any decent compression. In fact, it had the highest compression on the whole motor. So obviously we need to go through the whole motor, reshim it, and this thing's gonna pick up, I don't know, 30, 40 horse.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little funky because we're gonna have to essentially treat these like solid lifters.
Yeah, because our valve springs are so soft. Yeah, basically we're gonna set this up like a lash scenario, as if we had a feeler gauge.
The correct answer is put heavy valve springs in.
Yeah.
The answer we're going with is
No.
just make them not touch that much.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna be fixed.
It's gonna be different.
It's gonna be different.
Hello, everyone.
How do you know? You haven't even seen the footage
I
yet.
just fucking watched you put your entire mouth on the microphone.
Anyway, so here's what we're up against. You gotta hold still, Angus. Okay, here's what we're up against. This must have been one we didn't touch, but this is a cylinder that's still made 160 psi. Watch that valve spring. Okay, there's a little pressure. See how much that moves that valve when I tighten this down? That's not supposed to move. That valve spring is supposed to be way stronger than that lifter spring. But as mentioned, in our case, not what's happening. So proper fix here would be put heavier valve springs on. So yeah, we're gonna set this up like a solid lifter motor, which means shim it so that when I tighten that down and it sets torque on the bolt, it doesn't move that spring. And we should see 180 psi or more across the whole motor. This thing has been a complete pooch so far, and hopefully we can fix that, which we would have never been able to do on the road had we not just happened to be driving past Summit Racing, who had all of these shims in stock. So once again, check out that link in the description to thank them for making this happen for us. All right, here we go.
With a plan in place and a direction in mind, I spent the next couple hours reshimming the entire motor.
All right, it's been a little bit here at the mobile Junkyard Digs workshop, brought to you by Summit Racing, but I've gone through all the valves and shimmed everything. Most of them were 30 or 40 thousandths. We had a 50, a couple 20s, and one 0. So I don't know how to make them shorter, but yeah. Let's go ahead and do a compression test. This is number 5, used to be 150 psi. Angus, go ahead. 170 psi.
Oh, I'm so glad we were right. I was so worried there for a second.
With the valve lash considered good enough, we started reassembling the motor and putting the new fan in place.
Man, when the heck does our off-screen team of mechanics show up in the camera van?
I don't know. I wish it had been like 4 hours ago. That would have been really
Yeah,
handy.
No kidding.
I want to go play in the store, but no, we have to work on this stupid car.
Yeah, I don't know if this has been apparent forever or not. I don't think some people get this, but there is no hidden help on this channel. There's no editor. There's no marketing manager. There's no... Actually, there is a different guy doing the merch, but that's just because I can help someone else in town, a small business, grow and financially be stable. Which, by the way, check out the merch again, junkyarddigs.com. But yeah, this is it. It's just me, Angus, and Mook. And Mook probably does the most. She makes sure I have clean clothes and that the IRS doesn't put me in jail. Hey, put that damn fan down. You're gonna make us all blow away. All right, enough blabbing. Let's get this motor sealed up.
To wrap things up, Angus attached our scratch and sniff fan to a new clutch, and we put the whole shroud and fan assembly in the car. Before we fired it up, though, we had to go check one more time to make sure there were no good deals we were about to miss out on.
What'd you get there, son?
This is an oil pan for a big black Oldsmobile. Some of you might remember that jet boat we did. I pulled the engine out and I've been rebuilding it, and I've been needing a high capacity oil pan for a long time. Didn't want to spend the money, and guess what we just found in the scratch and dent section? Specifically a marine oil pan, 10-quart oil pan for a big block Oldsmobile. $280.
Damn. Well done.
Good score, good score.
I found an AMC V8 timing chain set for Mook's Jeep, which go along with the camshaft we got for that thing from here last time. Random small block Chevy camshaft kit for $160 and pretty decent 351 Windsor camshaft kit for $200.
I was incredibly lucky. I was gonna buy them when they were like $500, and then the price went up seemingly next day to $680. I was like, no, I'll never get one.
There you go.
And now I just have to buy the pickup. The jet boat will live again.
Oh yeah. I think it's a lumpier cam than I thought. Oh yeah, that's way better. I guess at this point we're staying in Dallas tonight because we are exhausted after working in the sun all day. So let's hop in this sucker, hammer down to the nearest hotel, and see if we got more power. Oh, all that, we still have blow on the tires. Damn it. All right, initial tests around the parking lot. Off-idle performance, unrivaled. that stumble where it falls on its face, it goes completely gone. Makes me think that we need to look into the Bonneville and that Malibu wagon a little closer, because they did the same thing, and we finally fixed one. Still a very loud fan. Oh yeah, it pulls a lot smoother. I think I'd say that's 20 more horse pumped into it. Finally, Cleveland runs pretty okay. It does have a 273 rear gear with a wide ratio trans, so I mean, like, what am I expecting really? It can only do so much. These motors are meant to live up high in the RPM, and this one doesn't really get to see RPM. All right, I think this thing is finally back on the road. Let's hit it early tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. Good morning, cruel world.
Hi, Mom.
Today we're starting our adventure in Dallas, Texas, where we left off, believe it or not. And today we're shooting for Kansas City, Missouri, trying to get all the way to Pole Barn Garage's place. We got a lot of driving to do. Let's get in the car and go. I think we're pretty much good to go. For us, day 3 was the big day. We had 530 miles to cover that day, so we put the hammer down and headed north.
Reminds me of Elfe. We're cruising right along here doing 70, 80 mile an hour. Car seems to love it. No issues. Temp is looking good. Oil pressure's looking good. It's running a lot better than it did yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, things are going good. We're going to keep the hammer down and get the hell out of Texas eventually. Someday.
For the first time in this trip, things were actually going really well. About 100 miles in, we pulled off at another Buc-ee's to get some fuel and food.
No.
No.
No truck.
No truck.
Once the car was full, we went inside, where Angus found more than just food. He found fashion.
Which way to the Grand Canyon?
You look ridiculous.
Speak for yourself.
We look ridiculous. All right, back on the road. With our confidence higher than ever due to our new stylish choices of clothing, we headed north across the Texas border and finally into Oklahoma.
We did it! We actually left Texas.
We made it!
We're damn near home.
But in all reality, we weren't even close to home. In fact, as we were about to find out the next time we stopped for gas, we weren't even done getting the tools out of the trunk.
We got a problem.
Interesting.
That's the whole side of our tire. I mean, I knew it was hitting, but god damn. That's a lot worse than I thought. I guess we need to do something about this, huh?
Yeah, I suppose.
Thankfully, we were in luck. A couple miles up the road, there was a small town repair shop who was willing to loan us a jack and a hammer. Big thanks to these guys for randomly trusting 2 idiots in Buc-ee's Hawaiian shirts.
Yes. Go to Texas. Get a rust-free car. Beat with a hammer. Clearly not the first person.
What?
Yeah, it turns out the offset I got for these rims, a little too wide. Little too wide. Oh yeah. Miles of clearance. Alright, back on the road. Tell you what, we've really been getting our use out of those 2 stickers we put on the back.
Yeah, we have.
We've had a pile of problems, but this thing is yet to leave us stranded anywhere. It's always driven to the site of the repair each time. Alright, 4-barrel. Really doesn't do anything until up top, but when she comes alive, she comes alive. Looks like we got 366 miles, 6 hours to Dalton's house.
It's like we never even left.
Yeah.
Anxious to get home after 11 days on the road, we put the hammer down and made some time. The Cougar was running really well, the temps were staying under control, and it was no longer rubbing on the rear tire. We passed the 100-mile mark in Oklahoma and kept on going. Eventually we saw a familiar sight, so we decided to pull off and get some fuel as well as switch drivers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
This'll do. Till we find something better. The clutch really does just love to stay on the floor, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's really hard to drive with my Raycons in
on noise isolation mode. I can't hear what it's doing at all.
That must work pretty good. I'm still running my old ones. I don't have that problem. My 7-year-old Raycons. 4 hours remaining. 4 hours and 7 minutes. 255 miles to Dalton's.
God, it's like we haven't even left yet.
Car's doing pretty good on fuel, though. I only put in 5 gallons again.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude. This car's getting almost 20 miles per gallon.
What?
Yeah, that's what it says. I mean, it's got the wide ratio trans, a 273 rear gear, and it doesn't weigh anything. All right, 250 miles left. Let's do it.
As we made our way north through Oklahoma, we went through one small town after another. It was pretty cool seeing all the old stuff on the side of the road. That is, right up until we were the old thing on the side of the road because the cops pulled us over for no plates. Again!
Apparently this year is just the year of getting pulled over for no plates. This is like, what, our 5th time?
After explaining our usual rigmarole of Iowa having 30 days before they require any form of registration, the officer eventually let us go and we were back on the road.
Alright, Mr. Whacker Angus, you've officially been warned by the police. How dare you? Don't do it again, they say. Whatever it was.
I'll try to not to.
So long, officers. 3 hours, 15 minutes remaining. 215 miles. Onward. Dalton just sent me some photos of the Mustang he's been working on for his video this week. It's pretty much the sister to this car, ironically. He says he's gonna race us, beat our ass. Yep. Go show them what the old Cleveland's all about.
As we hopped on the interstate and headed for Missouri, everything on the car was doing really well. For once, we could finally relax and enjoy the drive. The car was actually driving so smooth that I caught up on a little sleep. The next thing I knew, we were crossing the line from Oklahoma into Missouri. As our remaining miles crossed below the 100-mile mark, the sun began to set below the horizon. Soon enough, it was dark out, which makes it really hard to film, but for once that was okay because the Cougar was behaving well and drove all the way to Dalton's house without any more drama.
Where the hell are we? What a shithole. Which way to the Grand Canyon?
East.
Oh. Alright, the Cougar has made it all the way to Dalton's. With that, we're probably going to have a beer about it. We'll see you guys in the morning and pick up there, where we show Dalton what a real car is, or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I broke mine.
Already? Oh, good morning, Dalton.
Good morning.
I see you're up to arts and crafts today.
Yes. Well, you know, when your motor mount breaks and you can't get one, and you got a race to be in, just wrap her around the sway bar like that and bolt it to the head. It's an American V8. They all torque from the driver's side, so NHRA requires that chain, actually, if you're fast enough, which I'm not.
Right around. It's funny that they specify it to also be right around the sway bar in NHRA.
They don't. They don't really
added?
specify that part.
Oh,
that's my interpretation.
Gotcha. This is the car previously mentioned that Dalton's been working on. You can check this out on his channel, Pull Barn Garage, right here on YouTube. He did a revival while we did a revival of the Mercury equivalent.
With Dalton's new dynamic length motor mount in place, we headed out on the country roads, private property, to do some racing on a certified race track in Mexico, if anyone asks.
Yeah, this is how it was back in the day. Mercury's hunting Mustangs. Mustangs hunting Mercuries. Everybody beating on the Camaros. Some guy in a dart. You wanna run him? Sucker! Mercury, good job. All that work in that Cleveland was finally worth something. What do you say we drive home now?
I'd say that's a good idea.
We came, we've seen, we've conquered. Let's finish the 4 hours home.
Proud of the old Cleveland and finally figuring out you need to drive it like a stock car, we hopped back on the interstate and headed north. With only 200-something miles remaining, we were pretty confident the Mercury would pull it off no problem. And we were right. As we traveled north, we crossed Route PP, Highway 69, and everyone's favorite, Route Double D. Oh, and how can I forget the exit? Until eventually, after 12 long days in the south, we crossed the border into the promised lands of Iowa. Welcome to Iowa, Cougar. We're finally back in the promised land. We've got 114 miles left to go, an hour and 43 minutes remaining.
Nice. Hey, I bet we won't get pulled over for plates.
Finally! Nice! With only an hour and a half remaining, the Cougar had totally proven itself. It took a little convincing, but this car was okay with coming out of storage as a parts car for a number of years and driving 1,000 miles. Holy hell. Angus, look it. We've done it. It's home. We've made it home. 1,000 plus miles later, the Cougar pulls into the driveway. Oh, those pipes sound damn good.
Yeah, they do. This is the first time I can recall us getting back from Texas in a car not overheating.
Oh yeah, that's right, the 442 overheated, pulling in the driveway last time. There you have it, folks. 1,000 miles later, the Cougar has joined the fleet at home. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. A huge thanks to all of our sponsors, Summit Racing, Pipes, everyone else that was on board for this. And don't forget, once again, you can go down to the description and check out the links for discounts from Pipes and a link for Summit Racing. I don't know about you, but after 1,000 miles in this thing, I'm ready to get in anything else for a little bit.
Like a shower?
Like a shower, a bed, the 98.
Boy, that sounds good.
All very appetizing. Even the possum van's giving me a little wink right now from over there. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun. We went and got one of my bucket list cars. I'm excited to do more work on this in the future. We're far from done with the Cougar. The best way to support the channel is to check out the merch, junkyarddigs.com. We'll see you guys right here next week for another one. Peace.
After all that, the tires are still blue.
Oh God, I forgot.
Good luck with that. I'm going home to take care of the livestock.
Your cats?
Yeah.
You sure you're not going on vacation? You should.
This isn't the Grand Canyon.
And thanks again to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. To get your data removed from the internet, check out Delete Me via my link in the description and get 20% off.